So this is Mr. and Mrs. Adone. Mrs. Adone is a carrier of a disease called ALD. It only affects males and is carried on the X chromosome. So naturally, they want children. So in order for this to occur, meiosis must happen. So let's say that 2n equals 8 for the chromosomes. The first phase of meiosis is interphase, and this is where DNA replicates. Note that interphase does not occur before the second part of meiosis. The second phase is prophase 1, and those are the homologous chromosomes right there. And they're basically just similar chromosomes, and during this phase, the chromosomes cross over to create genetic variation. The next phase is metaphase 1, and this is when the chromosomes just line up. And the phase after that is anaphase 1, and this is when they began to separate. And the last phase in meiosis 1 is telophase and cytokinesis, and this is when they form into 2 daughter cells, each with 4 chromosomes. After that is the beginning of meiosis 2. This is where the nuclear membrane disappears. It's very similar to mitosis. So the next phase is metaphase 2, and this is when they line up in the center of the cell. The third phase is anaphase, and the chromosomes began to separate into chromatids on either side of the cell. And the last phase is telophase and cytokinesis, where 4 granddaughter cells are formed. This is when n equals 4. This creates either an egg or a sperm, depending on the sex. So that's the egg. One becomes the egg. The other 3 are polar bodies, so they just go away. Or sperm. And then they meet through a process called fertilization. To create even more variation, independent assortment occurs. This is when different combinations of alleles create a different outcome each time. This could be why Lorenzo has ALD but not red hair. This is the human life cycle. There is Mr. and Mrs. Adone. Meiosis occurs in their body cells, otherwise known as gametes. The sperm and egg are created and then meet to create a zygote during fertilization. It has 2 complete sets of chromosomes, making it a diploid, while the egg and sperm only have 1 set, making them haploid. Okay, to recap everything, Mr. and Mrs. Adone have a diploid number of 8. The meiosis creates 4 granddaughter cells, n equals 4, and each are sister chromatids. Egg or sperm is created and combined to form a zygote. So basically the question is, how does he have genetic variation? Through crossing over and independent assortment.